dual identity syndrome, false masks, and altars they create in their children, public saints, private ritualists. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is Occult Bloodlines, Families of Ritual Power. In this video, we're going to uncover what I call dual identity syndrome, a systemic feature inside ritual families where individuals cultivate impeccable public personas while privately functioning as spiritual enforcers, ritual participants, or abusers. These people aren't sloppy, they are deliberate. They are the pastors who preach purity while conducting ceremonies after midnight, the therapists who guide clients by day and perform energy harvesting rituals by night, the mother who appears saintly to her friends but manages a generational bloodline network in secret. Dual identity isn't a rare exception. In these families, it's the rule. One of the most disorienting elements for survivors is the disconnect between public perception and private experience. The very person who violated you might be praised by the community. They might be known as generous, kind, devout, successful. You may have grown up hearing, "You're so lucky to have parents like that," or "Your family is amazing." This dissonance isn't accidental. It's part of the ritual architecture. Occult systems rely on the cloak of respectability. The more respected someone is, the more untouchable they become, and the more difficult it becomes for a survivor to tell the truth, let alone be believed. These double lives begin early. In many ritual families, children are groomed into duality from birth. They're taught to smile in public, to call their abuser daddy in front of others, to dress appropriately, speak politely, and display loyalty to the family name. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're given entirely different instructions. These include spiritual assignments, enforced silence, or even training for ritual participation. This is not confusion, it's compartmentalization, a behavioral structure designed to create compliance without visible dysfunction. Dual identity also functions as a protective grid for the family. If one member is exposed, the others can use their social status to discredit or isolate the survivor. For example, a father who is a judge or a church elder has the power to shift narratives, call in favors, or bury evidence. A mother who is a licensed therapist may be able to label a child's memories as delusional. A sibling who appears perfect can testify that nothing ever happened. Or a parent who is a licensed trustee could hide and control financial gains, such as a trust fund, as in my personal story. This dynamic ensures that the system protects itself, no matter how obvious the truth becomes to those living inside it. It's also important to understand that dual identity is not just about roles, it's about energy. In public, the person performs benevolence. They give, smile, support. In private, they extract. They take energy through emotional manipulation, spiritual inversion, or ritual dominance. One persona nourishes their image, the other feeds the contract. This back and forth keeps them spiritually charged, socially untouchable, and psychologically split. Over time, many of these individuals lose the ability to integrate. They become different people in different settings, switching without noticing. Let me give you a real example. In my own life, my family and their partners cultivated this exact public-private split. There were members who were professionals, even praised for their home, family, and accomplishments. Meanwhile, they were managing trust theft, ritual grooming, legal harassment, and financial control behind the scenes. The mask was so airtight that no outsider, would believe what I said. In fact, I was called a liar and mentally ill when I first reported the trust fund they had illegally stolen from me, only to have the original will and paperwork appear 2 years after my claim during our court battle to prove what I was said was 100% accurate. And that's the point. They spent a lifetime abusing me and grooming those around us to think there was something wrong with me, in case the day came that I spoke up. No one would believe me. And it worked. No one believed me. That was until proof appeared. Dual identity is designed to create plausible deniability for the abuser and deep self-doubt in the survivor. This psychological setup makes healing incredibly difficult. Survivors are often re-traumatized when their abuser is praised. They're told they must have misunderstood, that they're being cruel, ungrateful, or mentally unstable. In fact, many survivors are sent to mental health professionals who are part of the same system. These professionals may seem helpful at first, until you say the wrong thing, trigger a cue, or ask about trauma they're not authorized to validate. Suddenly, you're labeled, watched, or dismissed. This is not random. It's an intentional filter, designed to redirect survivors back into silence. Dual identity syndrome also serves a generational function. Children raised in this system often grow up to replicate it. They become high achievers, public leaders, or caretakers, while secretly carrying unresolved trauma, assigned roles, or ritual energy. In many cases, they don't even know why they're repeating cycles. They may sabotage relationships, lose time, or feel empty when alone. That emptiness often comes from playing a role that was never truly theirs. It was built for them by someone else to serve a system they were born into. What makes dual identity so dangerous is that it creates layered betrayal. Survivors aren't just harmed. They're gaslit by the system that pretends to protect them. They're praised for being strong while punished for being honest. They're told to trust their family while being used by it. And when they finally try to speak out, they're met with disbelief, not because their story isn't valid, but because the person they're accusing has spent decades building a persona that no one wants to question. Let's break down what we've revealed. Dual identity is a common structure in ritual families where individuals maintain a public-facing persona while conducting spiritual control in private. Survivors often experience dissonance between the public praise their abuser receives and the private harm they've endured. Family members may hold positions of authority, doctors, clergy, therapists, that allow them to protect themselves and discredit the survivor. Children are raised to play both roles, the obedient public child and the private ritual participant. These roles become energetically embedded and passed down, creating generations of people living scripted lives they did not choose. Dual identity protects the system, isolates the survivor, and maintains the illusion of family perfection. Healing is obstructed by praise, social support for abusers, and gaslighting through institutional allies. If you were raised in a family like this, you may still be untangling who you actually are from who you were trained to perform. That confusion is not failure. It's a sign that the performance is breaking. When the front begins to crack, the truth doesn't just surface. It finally has room to live. And once it does, the illusion loses its power. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start. The black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation in leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.